We're back here with the Jimny. It's all registered and on the road, so now we can start the process of modifying it, the fun part. Before we even turn a spanner on this thing, we're going to head upstairs to our state-of-the-art design suite and just nut out a few details, make a bit of a plan, get everybody's ideas on the one page, just in terms of what we're going to do and what we're going to build with this thing, so we can all get stuck into it and work on it and come up with a really good thing at the end. So we'll run you through the design process and the rendering process that we have in mind to give us a really clear picture of what we're looking at when this is all said and done. Once in our state-of-the-art design suite, we decided to sort of really knuckle down and come up with a design concept. Naturally, I wanted the biggest tyres we could fit on it, so big, 42s or something like that. Cohen, our small car specialist, said, no Cam, no, you're not going to do that. So with a 42-inch tyre and an 88-inch wheelbase, Cohen said it wouldn't work. I disagreed with him, so we had to do some maths. So we sat down to crunching the numbers. As it turns out, Cohen was right. 42s just straight out equal to no. So we decided 32-inch Roxillas. The Roxillas we had on the shelf and the Dirty Life wheels we got from our friends at Dynamic Wheel Co. Now naturally, with the bigger tyres, we're going to have to do something with the gearing. So we're going to put sumo gears in the transfer case. We're going to put ARB air lockers in the front and the rear. We're also going to do some sill protection along here. We're going to keep the existing ARB bar on the front, but we're going to put a pretty cool winch in the front here, so stay tuned for that. And we're going to put 24 volt somewhere in this car so we can make that winch really work. We're going to put roof bars on the top for some protection, and down here, because Cohen will roll it, a trail gear rear bar, a trail gear rear tyre carrier. We're also going to put a 1.5-inch lift in this, with some Dobinson springs and Dobinson 3-way adjustable MRA remote res shocks, front and rear, and anything else that we can think that we need to throw at it. So now we had a plan, we thought we better get stuck in. The first thing we're doing today is we're going to get the transfer case sorted and we're going to get the ARB air lockers sorted. So when it comes to doing diff locks, you've got a few options. You can do it yourself, and the ARB instructions that are in the box are actually really good. And there's heaps of how-to videos on the internet and YouTube. We're not going to make another how-to video because our how-to is pull the centers out, bring them down to tight, hustling off-road, and get him to do it. This guy does diffs, he does diffs for our race cars, he does diffs for heaps of guys out in the competition scene and road scene. He's more commonly known as Diff Jesus. So we'll give our diffs to Ty now and give you a bit of a music montage of how a ARB air locker gets installed by Buddy Christ himself.
Why, hello there.
Take my hand if you dare to stay. Feel the rush, take my breath away. If we fall, then we fall in flames. One more time, here we go again. Under the lights, we are transcending gravity. Pulls the rhythm like stars, we never end. And we burn so bright, baby. The dawn is getting closer. Come here before it's over. We shine like supernovas. Under the lights, we are transcending gravity. Pulls the rhythm like stars, we never end. And we burn so bright,
is called torquing the cap bolts, Cam.
And what happens if you forget to do this?
You have to cut the front of your diff housing out after you've done 4 stages, tighten them up, and then weld it back together.
That seems like an unorthodox repair technique.
It would have been heaps easier if you just did them up.
Don't forget to do these up. Important.
Got a little bit ahead of myself and knew at this and forgot to film myself pulling out the transfer case. But here we are, pretty easy. Undo the tail shafts, 3 bolts and it comes out.
So we've got to remove these 2 plugs here so we can take out the springs and balls for the selector. So that's a spring. And there's a ball down in there as well. Both sides. Our next job is remove this bracket and the underdrive switch. So we'll make that happen. Recommend using the correct size spanner, not the adjustable kind. Now, if you don't have a special tool, you can put your tail shaft bolts in and then just hold it down with a pry bar or something like that. And there you go. Much easier. No special tool needed. That should just slide off like that. That's a tail shaft flange. Because they can be pretty weak in some of the pointy places, so be nice to it. So as you can see, we're really bad at filming, but we got the transfer case back together and it's in the car. Lockie and I busted our nuts to get that in there, but it's in.
So with everything back in the car and working, in the next video we're going to look at the suspension and the MRA shocks that we're putting in it. We've got heaps going on in the front. We've got manual freewheeling hub conversions, drop cross members, all that sort of stuff that we're going to look at. And then we're going to look at the winch and the 24 volt electrical system and how we managed to somehow squeeze 3 batteries with a full 24 volts isolated system for the winch into this tiny little car with no room. So stay tuned for that, and we'll get that up in the next couple of videos.